Moment Media. What's good? It's your boy DJ XMan back again with Miss Ahsha from the Red Cord. How you doing this morning, Ahsha?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I got 10 fingers and 10 toes, and I'm above ground, so I guess I'm doing okay.
Right? Living the dream.
Living the dream, as she always tells me. She always comes in and give us that speech, we're living the dream.
Right?
But sometimes that dream, though, Ahsha, is a nightmare sometimes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dealing-
Especially in 2020, I feel like we've all been living the same nightmare together, right?
Tell me about it. Okay. So, the last time we were talking about staggering numbers.
Yes.
As far as sex trafficking.
Uh-huh.
Has those numbers changed in the last month?
Well, I mean, they change on the daily, honestly, nationwide. That's why it's a very hard crime to keep statistics on, because the only way you know is when somebody's found or recovered. I can tell you that just within the last 2 weeks, Lawton has, thanks to Lawton Police Department and our detectives, did recover one human trafficking victim when they did an undercover prostitution sting a few weeks ago.
Shut up! And right here in Lawton.
Right here in Lawton, yes, sir.
In like 2 weeks,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to the Lawton Police Departments and the detectives, and thank you for doing your duty to protect our loved ones out there, man. Shouts out to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They need a ton of support. They're undermanned and underfunded, but they keep showing up every day and doing their job, which we appreciate. So, like I said before, if you're going to hashtag save the children, you got to hashtag save, back the blue. So
exactly.
We need them. We need them. And there were methamphetamines recovered. There were, a lot of people probably saw we had it on our Facebook page post. It was in the news, whatnot. So it's great. It's great. I guess the main point is if you are going to choose to buy sex in Lawton, you might want to be careful about making that decision. Because,
right. That's crazy. So is it like published right now to say who it is that was found?
As far as the survivor?
Yes.
No, that name, those names will not be released.
Okay.
But I do believe at some point the names of the potential Johns, the buyers, may be released at some point. Which, from the Red Cord perspective, that's exactly what we need to have happen.
Right.
We need to send a very clear message to our community that you don't purchase humans for sex in Lawton.
Absolutely.
And the only way to do that is to, in my opinion, make our public know who's out there buying sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter who you are. It doesn't matter your status, right?
Yeah,
you're breaking the law.
You're so right.
Right. You're being part of human trafficking, and we're not going to tolerate it anymore. So that's one of our missions, our visions of the Red Cord, is to create a community that's intolerant to human trafficking, and we've got the backing of our law enforcement on that. So,
is doing this kind of stuff. I mean, what gets them? How can I put it? What's the joy of, I guess, them buying sex? I mean,
well, what we find, right? Because nobody just wakes up one day and decides, I'm going to go do this.
Right.
Right. That's where the pornography comes into play. Mm-hmm. So we know that pornography changes the way the brain functions. We know that it hits the dopamine receptors to the point of the same addiction level as crack cocaine. And so when you're watching pornography and your brain likes that, it wants more of that. And so you'll continue to watch more and more and more pornography until the point that your brain's like, okay, this isn't, by watching it, isn't getting me the same high, or I'm not enjoying it as much.
Right.
And so I need to go act it out. And so people are like, but these people have spouses. Why? Well, because majority of the time, what you're watching in porn, your spouse isn't willing to do.
Okay.
So we're going to go purchase someone of whom you then feel that you have control over and can treat however you want because you're paying for this commodity.
So basically what you see on TV, you want in real life.
Right.
So that person goes and purchase that individual, male or female.
Yep.
And act out what they see.
Right.
On TV and stuff, and pornography.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
And what we know is that pornography also is very tied to violence against women.
Absolutely, yes.
And so if a man or a woman is watching that on the consistent, it changes the brain to think this is love, this is what I desire, this is what I want to do. But again, the spouse probably isn't going to be willing to do what they've been watching, what they're addicted to. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like if you were addicted to heroin and your wife or your husband's not willing to give that to you to maintain your addiction, you're going to go buy it on the street.
Right. You're going to be angry.
Right.
For one.
You're going to be angry. So you're just going to go buy it. And it doesn't matter who you hurt, how much it costs, where you have to go to get it, or how low you have to stoop to get it.
Right.
It's a drug. Pornography is the new drug, and that's how people get to the point. Because you'll hear too, like when you see where men are buying children to do this. How right. No, we're not designed that way. Nobody wakes up one day and just decides, oh, I want to be a prostitute, or oh, I want to go buy a 10-year-old child and have sex with them. That's just not how
right.
how that works. But somebody who's been watching child pornography and becomes addicted to that and then decides, I need to act that out. Mm-hmm. That's how they end up buying a child.
And so what about like the ones that hang around like at the schools and you know, places that they know where a lot of kids, young teenagers and, you know, things of that nature. I mean, how can we control that as well?
Well, we have to control it by educating our kids first.
Okay.
Right? It's a different stranger danger out there today. We need to educate our kids that not everyone is a friend online, regardless of if they've friended you. That who you think you're talking to online is maybe not really who it is. It's maybe not another 13 or 14 or 15-year-old boy. It's actually an adult who's acting that way in order to become a part of your life.
Right.
So education is key. Awareness is key. Education for parents is key. Having our law enforcement and our internet crimes against children being, you know, they're obviously aware, but
right.
being able to do their job,
right?
You
true,
know,
true.
to do their job.
True.
So it's a whole continuum of things that have to happen in order to fight this.
Right.
Right. That's why it takes a whole community.
Right. And the question also I have with that being of the pandemic, and you know, we're slowly starting to, I wouldn't say open up everything, but you know, things are still trying to slowly open back up. Like take for instance football games. There's a limited number of seating, things of that nature. Do you think like they're watching that as well? Or like is predators watching that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We say that our predators are some of our best people at profiling. If we could get them to be on Homeland Security, we'd probably be a safer nation, honestly. Because they're amazing at profiling. They can walk into a room and pick up quite quickly of a vulnerable child or a vulnerable person, just based off of how they're acting, how they dress, their body language. They're amazing at profiling. So they understand right now that we have a lot of kids at home learning online.
Right.
So that just opens that playground, online playground is just blown open for them.
And okay, speaking of which, since we do have a lot of virtual learning going on because of the pandemic with the school system, is predators / hackers coming to the play now? Oh,
absolutely. Yeah, our predators are smart. They're smart.
Right.
They're very tech savvy. So by all means, I would say, you know, we need to have security measures on our computers, on our devices for that.
Right.
But don't think that then that's 100%, you know, proof. it's going to keep you away from the predators.
Because somebody is going to hack into it. And
there's computer programs out there on the market that help people hack into stuff like this.
And they making money off of that.
Right.
How do we we already talked about the education of our kids and things of that nature. What about the adults that, now I'm going to throw a little curveball in this, that have been involved in sex trafficking and they have a daughter or a younger son? How does that impact that child if they know what happened to their mom and dad?
Well, it probably depends on how those parents explain the situation to their kid, to their child, right? I can tell you that the people that I've talked to, the interviews that I've listened to from people who were in the pornography business or who've been trafficked or in prostitution and are out of that life now and have children of their own, they fear, especially with pornography, they fear that their child at some point will come across their picture or their movie or something that has happened previously in their life.
Yes.
Right?
Especially in the pornography business.
Right, because with pornography being so prevalent and so easily in our hand, 24/7 at the push of a button, no matter the age, there's some parents out there that are very afraid that their kids will stumble across, that's my mom. What in the world? So I always advocate with every parent, no matter what you've done in your past, talk with your kids about it. Talk with your kids about it. Use the things that happen in your life as a lesson for them. I'm very open and honest with my kids.
Right.
That's how I choose to parent. Some people aren't comfortable doing that, but I would rather my kids know the experiences that I've had in my life.
Right.
To then use it as a teaching example. It's not going to proof it, right? It's not going to mean they're not going to make their own bad choices.
Understandable.
But talk about it, because we've all made crappy choices in life. We all have some level of shame or guilt.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Nobody gets out of this life without making a bad choice.
Right. Yeah. And that's really understandable. But, okay, so what age limit do you actually, let's say, for instance, I did some horrible stuff and this, that, and the other, and I have a young daughter myself, and, couldn't call her young, but right now, but when is that age where I sit down and talk with her and says, hey, listen, got to tell you something about a little bit about my life and what I don't want you to go through? When is that age limit that you...
Again, I think it depends on the maturity level. I don't know that there's an exact black and white age. Okay, at age 13, tell them this. It's the maturity level. I have a 10-year-old that's very mature. I've been around other 10-year-olds that there's no way I would tell them what I would tell my daughter. Right? So I think each parent needs to judge that. But definitely by the time they're hitting puberty, okay, so 11, 12, 13, somewhere around in there. And it's not just one discussion. It's discussions over a year or so, right?
Right.
And it doesn't have to be, okay, come sit down at the table, we're having this talk. Right, because your kids are going to be like, oh, Lord, what'd I do? What are we talking about? It's when you're driving in the car. It's when you're making cookies. It's when you're hanging out, doing something else generally, when these conversations are easier to have versus having an agenda like it's a staff meeting. Right? So making them understand that you are an ally with them, that you're not against them, that you're for them, that... It's a partnership that, you're still the parent. You're still going to set boundaries. But ultimately, it's me and my child against the world. It's not the world against my child.
Right.
And I'm there to just be like, yeah, you're bad. You made a mistake, and add to the shame when they make a bad choice.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think definitely by tweens, the 11, 12, 13 age is definitely a good time to start talking about, obviously drugs, alcohol, definitely pornography. Pornography needs to be talked about probably before they get a phone. Okay, so depending on what age you're giving a phone to your child that has access to the World Wide Web and to texting and to apps, you need to have a pornography discussion before you put the phone in their hand. the sooner the better. Let's put it that way.
Right.
The sooner the better. And there's some awesome resources out there for parents. And matter of fact, I'm super glad you brought this up, because the Red Cord's having our very first parent seminar in November.
Okay.
And it's an all-day parent seminar on November 7th. It's a Saturday, from 9 to 4. And it's going to be at Crossroads Baptist Church in Elgin. It's a free event. And our whole day is going to be about a lot of what you and I just talked about.
Wow.
How do we help our parents navigate this world that we're parenting in, this over-sexualized world that we're having to parent in?
Right.
So it's going to start out with basics of what is human trafficking. We're going to go into pornography. We're going to go into apps, gaming, sexting, and then a ton of resources and a Q&A with a counselor at the end.
Okay.
They can find that event on our Facebook page. There is limited seating. It is free. Lunch is provided. Childcare is provided. The church is doing an amazing job for us.
Nice.
So come, because this whole parent seminar has come out of talking with parents.
Okay.
And having parents come to us saying exactly what you've just asked me. When do we talk? How do we talk? What do we talk about?
Right.
What apps are good? What apps are bad? What programs can we put on our computer and our phones to help block this stuff or to help make us aware when it's happening?
Right.
We will have all of that as best as possible, because
Nice.
It changes on the daily.
Yeah,
It's a full-time job
keeping
up with it.
We have to look at what's going on, because the world is changing. I mean, look what's going on right now. Between 8 months ago, we never thought about being in a pandemic like this, number one.
Right.
We
And all the things that have come because of it. All of our, right? Like our kids learning online.
Yeah.
Nobody was planning on homeschooling all their kids.
No, not for, this. And now,
Yeah.
there's the fear. And now that they have access to a computer, that is, like you say, Zoom conferencing, virtual learning, these predators out there like, aha.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're doing this now? Now we have to step, guys or women that are predators, they're stepping their game up. Like, okay, how can I get in that conference without being seen?
Right. And because you have to remember that human trafficking is a business. It's treated just like a business.
Exactly.
Okay, so they're looking at the best places of where to find their customers, end quote, if you will, right? Like you would for a business. Where do I go? Where are the people that I want to target? Where are they at? So they're going to treat it just like a business.
And you hit it right there. They're going to treat it like a business. So the business of hacking, the business of probing through something without being seen, probably is going through the roof now because of the change of what's going on in our world today.
Right.
So that's, man.
And I think we're going to, there's statistics coming out, and they've been coming out, is that the more we see kids online and on our phones, social media, the more social media apps that have been built, our suicide rates are correlating with that. Okay? So I was watching something the other day that was showing this on a graph, and it literally, they went up at the same time. So it was kind of parallel, and then we hit Facebook and it went up, and then we hit Snapchat and it went up, and then we hit Twitter, and it just, the social media and the teen suicides are correlating.
Wow.
And so, not to say that your kid's going to commit suicide if they're on social media.
Right.
Obviously. Just like if you're watching pornography, that doesn't mean you're going to go buy someone. But I can tell you that everyone that has been caught buying someone for sex is addicted to pornography. Okay? So they're still tied. We find that every child that is basically addicted or has been bullied or has spent a lot of time on social media has either suicide ideation, has tried suicide, or has completed suicide. Kids on the 8th, I believe it starts at 3, again at Elgin at Crossroads Baptist. This is the youth program that we do in schools. We've done for youth groups. It's fantastic. And parents are welcome to come if they want.
Okay.
It's appropriate for ages 12 and up, so middle school and high school. Definitely need to come. And we'll educate your kids for you. If you don't, right? If you don't know how, you don't want to, you're unsure of how to do this, bring your kids and we'll do it for you.
Okay.
happily. That's why we're here.
That's why they're here,
That's
y'all.
why we're here.
Ahsha, how can people reach out to you all to get educated and more information from you all?
Yeah, so you can always go to our website, www.theredcord.org. Tons of resources there. You can contact us there for trainings. You can also contact us on direct messenger through Facebook and Instagram. We're also on Twitter and LinkedIn. So you can direct message us on any of those social media sites.
So is there any other events that is coming down the way?
Yeah, the biggest one is the Parents Seminar. We also still have tickets available to win a free car, like we talked about last month. We still have those tickets. It's a fundraiser where our tickets are $10, and the Red Cord gets to keep all the funds raised from these tickets. Okay. And the tickets then are entered into winning $25,000 towards a new car. Yeah, and we have till December I think they're polling December 21st for.
Wait.
Yeah.
So you're saying, if I buy a ticket, the ticket is $10, if my ticket gets pulled, I win a new car.
You win $25,000 towards a new car.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. So contact us on that too. You can buy as many tickets as you want.
Okay.
And we can sell them all over the United States, not just here in Lawton. So we can sell them all over. So contact us, and we'll happily do that for you.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
Ahsha, thank you so very much. Once again, you always enlighten us with facts, information, and enlighten our lives about what's going on right here in our own backyard. And it is so important that we need to know what's going on in our backyard. It is so important to know what your kid's doing, who they're interacting with, and just be aware. You always hit it with educating. So I thank you so very much once again.
I appreciate you having me come and talk every month.
It's a privilege. It's an honor and a privilege, because knowing that the bust that just happened a couple weeks ago, I guarantee you a lot of people were sitting back like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that just happened? It happened in your own backyard. And again, it's probably somebody that you know. Like, wait a minute. This guy was just in my house last week.
Yeah.
Or this woman or whoever it was, we don't know exactly who it was.
Right.
Was just in my house. And I would never thought that this individual would be doing something like this.
Right.
And there you have it.
Yep.
So.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I'm always honored and humbled to be here as well. So thank you. Thank
you so very much. It's great information to be shared. Lawton and Fort Sill, once again, I have the honor and privilege to talking with Miss Ahsha from the Red Cord. And we'll be right back, and we will talk with you again next month right here on Moment Media. Thank you so very much.